Can you imagine trying to help someone without listening to what they want? I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but it shows up in our service work way more than you might expect. Moving from charity to partnership requires giving up our claim to having all the answers. It requires recognizing that our partners know their needs and their context way better than we do. If we really want to make a difference, we need to listen. Let me illustrate this with a story. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It was my second year in Guatemala managing volunteers, and I'd just read the most ridiculous email ever. "Hi," it said. "I have someone who would like to donate a golf cart for our upcoming mission trip. Do you know of a way to ship a golf cart to a rural village in Guatemala?" I thought to myself, what would it look like to ship a golf cart to Guatemala? I ran the scenario in my head. The golf cart gets loaded onto a plane and shipped to Guatemala. The community partners trek to the nation's capital to pick it up. They haggle with officials about import taxes and requests for bribes. They strap the cart onto a bus and trek back to their community. Once home, they find the cart doesn't work well on cobblestone. And it breaks down. And it stays broken because there aren't any local spare parts. A total disaster. Shipping a golf cart to Guatemala wasn't going to do anybody any good. So where'd this group go wrong? What led them to try and ship a golf cart to Guatemala? The problem is that they weren't listening to their partners. They ended up trying to solve problems that may or may not have even existed, and they were using a solution that certainly didn't make sense in the local context. Failing to listen can be overt, like assuming that shipping a golf cart is a good idea. It can also be more subtle, like anchoring the conversation around the things that we want to talk about, or working on projects that we come up with on our own. Failing to listen is a sure sign of the charity mindset. We end up going into our partners saying, "We have all the answers. We know what your problems are. We know how to solve your problems." And this leads us to taking action that, while well-intentioned, doesn't achieve the results we're seeking. We do things like shipping golf carts to Guatemala. There's a better way. I remember one group of volunteers in Guatemala that was particularly good at listening. And they'd ask open-ended questions like, "Tell us about what your community is particularly proud of. How do things get done around here? What does your organization most hope to accomplish?" The thing that was remarkable about this group is that they stepped back. They invited the community to define its needs and its solutions, and it was only then that they grabbed tools and said, "Let's get to work." It's easy to see ourselves as superheroes, swooping into our service placements ready to save the day. But let's face it, we're not superheroes. We don't have all the answers, and our partners aren't helpless, waiting to be saved. Lose the cape. Start listening. Your partners are going to thank you for it. And together, you'll be able to create the kind of change that lasts.